Hello? Hi guys. Oh good lord, Matt's got a strange profile picture. Matt's gas mask picture for the stack. Oh, did we drop Sean? We can do that. How do I log in? I want to log in. I want to talk to the kids.
Oh god damn it. You better talk to the Hey, what's up everyone?
There we go.
This is Mythlodis. Okay. How's everybody doing? I have to change something quickly.
Okay. Alright, I think I've logged in.
Okay, Sean, are you here?
Where's that Sean? I'm useless without my Sean.
We need our Sean!
He does everything for me.
He does absolutely everything. All the time.
Alright. Alright, so who's playing Nexus 1 today?
Okay, Meth is going to be playing your precious Nexus.
Hello.
Just as a heads up, guys,
Yeah.
this is going to be an in-between episode of the Project Nexus 2 podcast. Right now, unfortunately, because we missed the end of June, people have been traveling around. Swain and Sean can go into more detail of that. We're going to have the next actual Project Nexus 2 build, or the newest one, available probably on the 25th of July or the 1st of August, depending on how our schedules work. So we're just going to put something out there where you guys can do the Q&A, and then we can figure out stuff from there.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Okay, so if you and Sean want to go into details about why, unfortunately, we missed everything.
Okay, it's all Sean's fault. He said, hey guys, you've been working really hard, you should get out of town for a little bit. So I did. It was really bad advice. I'm Swain, by the way, for any newcomers. This is Swain blaming Sean.
Sure.
And so it's all his fault, and send him your hate mail.
Okay, yeah, that's Sean at project. No, my email is The-Swain@gmail.com.
I don't even, that could be my Gmail. I don't even remember. Google thinks for me. I can't be bothered to even think these days. Actually, I should get you guys a couple of Project Nexus 2 emails. I mean, there's no reason why not. I just renewed the website for another 5 years, which I think is about how long it's going to take to finish developing this game. What?
Yep, 5 years confirmed.
It's going to be Nexus 2020.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least you're not taking money. You're still doing big stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Right, to be fair, okay, so where have we been? So first off, it's the same reason Matt is not here right now. Crinkles, poor dear sweet gentle Crinkles, he's not dead. In fact, even better than that, he's quite alive. He has been, I think he drove off to Pittsburgh for some kind of convention with a former roommate of mine for this weekend. I think he left on like Tuesday, something like that. But the poor guy has been working so flippin' hard on this game. That is to say that since he moved here in November, or early December, yeah, I think that's what it was, he has not gone back home this entire time. He has been stuck in Philly, a brand new city for him. He's visited maybe once or twice, but he's never lived here. And other than myself, he doesn't know anybody. Everybody from Newgrounds is off doing their own thing, you know. So this has been his first chance to actually get back home, see his parents again. So he went for the 4th of July for that, saw his family. I got to see all his little smiley little pictures. He actually looks like a happy guy when he's hanging out with his family, so, you know, good for him.
He's miserable as...
Yes, because I'm the only family he's got here, so what do you think?
Slave labor. That's what
I know. And so actually, yeah, speaking of slaves, I got to meet Sean, the very same Sean who's here on the podcast. Hi, Sean.
What do you mean, speaking of slaves? What's that?
Am I wrong? Are you not my slave? I'm sorry. Are we having a misunderstanding on that? Have I been playing this the wrong way the whole time? I got to meet Sean. Sean and I met face to face. Which now, out of the crew, Matt and I have been close for a while, but I now have met face to face with Sean. I've met face to face with Devin, who I missed on this particular trip to South Florida. He had family in town, so it just didn't line up. but I've met him before. So slowly but surely, the internet team of Project Nexus 2 is coming together, and then promptly separating again. As I think Sean and I went to a restaurant, hung out for a couple hours, and said bye. That was it.
Yeah.
Tired of each other. Couldn't handle it.
Well, he made me go to Farnborough, and there's not really much to do there, which is okay. We really only had the afternoon anyway, so it worked out. It was fine. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was nice. Like, I felt like a celebrity because we go to these little like restaurants and this coffee place in a mall that we went to because I needed to pick up like a windbreaker. It was getting kind of cold at night, and I just hadn't packed one. The weather didn't seem like it needed it, but. So we go to all these little places, and everybody's so impressed and amazed that at least that's what I thought. I'm probably completely wrong. That there's an American in their little town. And I thought it was kind of funny. Being the guy with the strange accent. I don't think I've ever gotten to be that before.
Well, I mean, you kind of stood out from the train station, to be honest.
You mean aside from being 6'3"?
Yeah, because you're kind of like a tower of a man. Very
Yes.
huge.
I'm stroking my
broad
beard as you
shoulders.
say that. It's perfect.
It's like a big mountain beard stepping out of like this tiny village like train station.
Yeah, we need to update the Swain picture for the podcast because I look like a wizard. I look like Gandalf. Gandalf, but without the white hair.
Oh man, but oh no, it was good.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
alright.
Yeah, it was fine. I bought you a beer on Project Nexus dime. You see that, guys? All your precious Kickstarter money going to feed Sean's addiction.
No.
My addiction.
Beer.
You launched the addiction.
Actually, I got to luck out. For the record, so people can hear me say it on record. Swain, what? We funded your Kickstarter. What are you doing flying to London on Kickstarter money? Well, to be fair, I wasn't. It actually was a happy accident. My girlfriend of a year and a half, Liz works for a company in Philly that sent her to London for work. And just by a complete fun coincidence, she was going. I wanted to hop on board, so basically I got to go on another company's dime. So it had nothing to do with the Kickstarter, which is awesome. I got to go enjoy a little bit of London, and then I came back, and then I went to Miami for a couple days, and that is why there have been no updates lately on the podcast. We've all been off doing our things with our families, but now we're here. Now we're back to work. And since I've been back, I got weapon stocking in lockers. I think I put up an update on that on the Tumblr. Yesterday I was working. Finally, I'm doing the back end for the skill trees because Arena is working. Waves do spawn, and I need to track how experience points will affect your character leveling up and what does that mean. So hopefully we'll get to talk about some of that today. Sean and I did some R&D about that yesterday. But we're finally getting towards having a more solid understanding of what it means to have a skill tree in Project Nexus 2. So I figure that's a pretty good segue, right? You guys know what we've been up to. I don't have any vacations planned until Christmas. That is to say, I am not leaving town. I might go to Boston for like a day or two, but that's it. That's like everything for the rest of the year. Until for Christmas I go back home to Miami. I'm not even doing Thanksgiving down there. The parents are coming up here, so I don't have to like throw money around. I don't have to like take time off or anything like that. Just it's beautiful. I just have straight work until December, and of course the alpha will be done before that. But remember, the longer we wait on the alpha, the more complete product you'll have when you play it. Just remember that we're not dragging our feet. It's getting to be a more and more complicated game. Okay, so. I guess, Sean, you're hosting this time, right? Because Meth is, although participating, is the one playing the game. Where do you guys want to take it from here? I know.
Well, actually, Meth is hosting.
You're dying, you fool. Oh, by the way, you're doing it slow. Get used to doing tap to run, and then do the charge attack, because you get 2 attacks in one if you. And then as you're finishing the attack, you can tap to do it again.
No, I can't. What? Confused me. I can't remember these controls. I'm terrible at this.
It's been so long.
Just double tap a direction to move away. If it lags, like because it's a flash game, sometimes it won't track your movement, so the dash won't won't work. I do like we've improved on it in Nexus 2. To run, it's the same thing. You tap in a direction, but you can also just press caps lock. We were having trouble in some levels with the way the camera works. Because Nexus 1 is great. It's just a nice grid, like flat layout. You either go left or you go right, and up and down into the distance. That's it. In the new game, the camera swivels because we're working with the 3D. We're making it a lot more pleasant, a lot more dynamic. And the problem, though, is the controls sometimes get confused, which we've talked about in previous episodes. So on top of the controls updating based on the direction the camera's facing, You can also press caps lock, and that's just our working thing for right now. You can always bind another key if you want to, but if you press caps lock, your guy will move towards the mouse. And why this is significant is because right now, when you only have WASD, which means you either move away or towards the camera or left and right perpendicular from that direction. That's it. Always on a grid. With this, you can actually like fine tune how you move. So you can kind of like snake between obstacles, and your guy will always move towards where you have the cursor placed on the ground. So that works nicely. You can also hold down caps lock, and your guy will run towards it instead and sprint. So you can get some pretty cool effects with that as well. Anyway, it's another way to move around. I think that it's pretty helpful. You can as soon as you press WASD, your guy stops moving, so you're not like locked into it or anything like that. I think it feels nice and smooth, and the game can be played without it. But it really helps for those stages where it's harder to like get across a platform, because the platform isn't exactly the same grid that you're moving on. I wish I had a diagram I could explain this, but if you've got like a bridge and you don't want to fall off the edge, and that's part of the challenge of the game, let's say. WASD may not be enough to like you have to like hold D but then tap W, so you kind of like staircase across it so that you're at the right angle. Instead of doing that like bull crap, instead you can just press caps lock and have your guy walk across it the right way. Granted, once you start like aiming to shoot, your guy's going to try to follow the cursor, but we don't live in a perfect world and it can't be a perfect game. Oh wait, yeah, it can. But yeah, that's what we're doing with that. So anyway,
had some free time.
I don't know.
Drawing
June. Furry porn or something. I don't know what that guy does. Actually, he was putting together the office stage. We've leaked a couple of photographs of it, some screenshots. But he was putting together the office stage, and he's begun building the commercial sector. Matt's job, and this is why we haven't seen a lot of updates from him, is he's actually doing all of the really hard grunt work of going from sector to sector and designing the individual scenery pieces that will make it up. That is to say, he's not building stages yet. He's already done all the stuff for the mining sector, or at least most of the head start on it. He's done this office interior stuff just on a whim. Just let's have office interiors. So we have that now. He did the industrial sector. He put together also all that stuff for the helipad stage. Basically, he's gone from practicing making levels to doing all the final interior and exterior object decorations that go into the different stages. So he's working on the commercial area yet. I haven't seen it yet because I was out of town, then I came back and he left town. I left again, then he was back, then I came back right as he left again. He was doing Colorado Springs to go home, now he's in Pittsburgh for that little convention thingy. Jesus Christ, your character looks beat up, Meth.
I just like taking a beating.
I was just into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Did you win yet? Good lord.
No.
You need a tack bar, son. So, let me see. So yeah, he's doing things like storefronts, windows and stuff that we can just plug into a building and just have like a cool window with like shop items on the inside. We would have like, signs, decorations, street accoutrements, like signs and whatnot for both like the streets as well as like businesses. I put together a bus stop object like a year ago that we haven't used yet. I think it appeared in the one of the desert scenes in the Kickstarter video, but none of those were permanent stages, so it's hard to say. Yeah, he's putting together. Yeah, he's basically putting together the commercial sector, so all new items to make it look unique compared to the residential area.
Damn it.
Yeah, so that's what Matt's been doing while I've been working on core features. So let me go through my notes so I can actually remind myself some of the things that I've been working on lately. One of the big things that I've been trying to nail down comes in two forms, and that's boss patterns and cutscenes, but in-game cutscenes, where you could walk into an area and let's say Tricky is there and you have to have a conversation with him. I don't know, whatever. You walk in, the camera needs to know where to go, where the actors that are a part of that cutscene need to be, what everybody else who's not a part of this cutscene will be doing. For example, stop shooting, stop being in combat, that kind of thing. Or if you're in the middle of a war zone, maybe they do keep fighting but avoid the main actors, etc. I basically been studying how other games have done this, like most Rockstar games, and it looks really, really simple. And I think I'm going to try to base my cutscenes, in-game cutscenes, off the way that they do it, which is just characters have a series of points of dialogue, and the camera, as it cuts from different points and just travels very slowly between these 2 points, including the direction, so that like kind of starts one place with a certain direction ends up at another point with another direction after a certain amount of time has passed, while the characters continue to act. So just like the, you hit the button, wave 1, your character smokes a cigarette, that would be a cutscene in the new system. So it kind of focus on your guy. You'd see him up close, all badass, and then the camera pulls out, and you go to start fighting. That would be a cutscene. I don't know. You're walking around your headquarters and you run into one of your squad mates, and you want to talk to him to get him to join your team. Maybe every now and then, when you talk to somebody, instead of just having a prompt that says "add this guy to your squad," yes or no, maybe instead your guy has like a funny conversation with him based on the interactions they've had before. Stuff like that. And of course, then the invaluable necessary story mode cutscenes where you walk into the room and the boss does his monologue. Like Project Nexus 1.5 had a lot of that with the Christoph character talking to Phobos. You walk into a room and he's like, you're over my dead body, or whatever they say. That kind of stuff needs to be handled with a dynamic system where we can plug and play animations, dialogue, music changes, and prompts, as well as in-game effects like bam, you actually took damage, or bam, your guy actually died. And of course, camera positions between these points. So I have to find a way to code, like threading all that stuff together. I do all that stuff from scratch, and it's necessary for the game, even for arena mode, so that's something I need to do for the alpha. At least the beginning, like, intro, so we can kind of, like, test it out, because that's what the alpha's for. So I got to do that, and then boss patterns. Boss patterns are their own nightmare, because this game is not based on patterns, it's based on characters making tactical choices in combat. Flanking you, working together as a team to try to stop you, that sort of thing. Boss patterns kind of are like having to start a new method from scratch, much like Mythlotus now has to start over because he died. Is your name
Shank
or Mythlotus? Is it McDonald's? Is that your character name?
No, Mythlotus. What?
Okay, I saw it for like a fraction of a second. I thought you named your guy McDonald's. And I'm kind of disappointed you didn't, so, work on that.
Oh,
Just buy like a switchblade or a hammer or whatever.
Yeah,
it's hammer time. Sometimes you just gotta do business with pleasure. That's an expensive bottle.
Cool.
Yeah, well, you programmed it, so...
I didn't want to. Did you buy it and forget to equip it?
Yes, I did.
Are you sure?
He's gonna be great in a war zone.
Wasn't in a 2 right now.
For the record, I think if you throw the hammer, I think it does more damage than whacking him, and plus it's at a range. I think it also doesn't harm the hammer. I forget.
Then it breaks in one shot.
Make sure you aim for the head. And... Nice. It's hammer time. Don't forget to say it's hammer time a
So
lot.
confirming.
What is that supposed to mean? Yeah, in fact, the way it's going to work is I try to think of it as like Unreal Tournament or something, where you pick a map and you play that map, and that map is that particular challenge. So what you'll get is, like, we have a stage called Mary Waters. It's like a business or something like that. And so Mary Waters is a very low-level arena stage. You would pick it. You'd probably start it on easy mode, because you haven't unlocked normal or hard yet. If you complete it, you get a certain amount of money, and probably a certain amount of base experience for doing it, and also how well you kill guys and that kind of thing. And your style points might modify both of those things, cash and experience that you gain. And so you would pick that stage and you'd play through a series of waves that would get harder and harder and harder, but it would be beatable, and it wouldn't be like this where it just keeps going. Like, congratulations, you finished a wave. You go home, you equip, you come back out, next wave is even harder. Instead, what you would do is you'd then pick another stage, or play that one on a harder difficulty for better rewards and stranger mutations to make it different. Like maybe the conveyor belts go the opposite direction and are faster, or fire drops from the ceiling randomly. Shut up, telephone, you idiot! Hey, that was Stamper. Where the hell Stamper went? Hold on, guys. The Stamper is,
Bring him on.
Yeah, he texted me. Actually, I gotta go on his, he does a podcast with his Sleepy Cabin buddies. We were gonna do a soul food night over at his place, because I love to cook and so does he. It's maybe the only thing we have in common besides Newgrounds, which he despises. So we cook a lot, and we actually get along pretty well about that stuff. So he's doing a soul food night over at his place. For those of you who've watched, what was it, Potato Salad, it's nothing like that. And we're gonna do soul food, but soul food isn't Southern food like fried chicken and ribs and stuff. Soul food is more like chicken feet and like that, and like intestines and stuff, like really weird stuff. I mean, you basically have to look at it as African-originated slave food. Like, it's no joke, that's what it is. So we wanted to do soul food just to get really strange and try something new. But I think that most people don't want to participate in that. I do, absolutely, but 2 people a party does not make. So, anyway, we were talking about Murray Waters, Arena Stage. So, yeah, you actually, one of the things I think is important is that you'll have a sense of beating these stages. Like, and if you want to go back and fight just grunts for a couple of spare bucks that you don't even really need, do it. Like, there's nothing stopping you. You'll fight several waves, probably, all at once. Like, you'll fight a wave, which is several rounds of guys. And after that wave is done, the next wave comes, and then eventually you'll have boss fights and all that kind of fun stuff. And eventually you'll beat that stage, and then that's it. And then you get the cash dollars for it. And then you build a character.
So basically the difference between the first one and this one is that the wave doesn't end until your character is defeated.
In the original Nexus 1, yeah, I mean, that's the way it worked, is that, well, you beat the wave, you go and equip, you'd advance to the next wave, and you would just keep doing that forever, like infinity waves. This game does have a limit to the waves you can do.
Well, I mean,
you can always play a more difficult stage.
As in Nexus 1, you finish one wave and then it ends, and you get the cash reward, but for this one, would it just be
in this one,
one after
it would be a number of waves. You'd have like 3 waves, 4 waves, depends on the difficulty and the stage. And it would let you know ahead of time what kind of guys you're likely to face, as well as how many waves you would probably be encountering, and maybe also what the boss would be for that particular stage, depending on difficulty and such. So yeah, there would be a limit to the waves, and you can beat it also. That's what I think is great about it, is that you beat it, and you're like, great, that was worth a lot of cash. I want to go back and do it again, farm it for XP or something. And you totally can. You can go right back in there and do it again. But if you want to advance through arena mode as a game, not just as a thing to practice building a cool character, you need to advance to new stages, or play the next one in a higher difficulty. And so on Madness mode, I think is the highest difficulty after like hard or whatever. On that mode, I think the plan is that you can play any stage in Madness mode, and it will always be hard. It will always be almost impossible, and go on forever. Like, we're talking like a 20-minute round or something that just goes forever, or 20 minutes if you prefer. And it doesn't matter. Like, you couldn't beat Madness mode of the first stage until you're like level 20 or whatever the equivalent is in this game, the new game. Like, you can't just because it's the first stage and the easiest one doesn't mean that Madness mode on that is going to be very easy. Like, you need like a Hank level guy if you're going to soar through it, and even so, it's going to be tough. Man, you got to admit though, those deaths where they end up with the hilt in their head, that is my absolute favorite thing about this game.
I'm trying to figure out how it even works.
What, the hilt in the head?
Yeah. How many did you have to like program each different kind of? How many weapons stick in characters' heads?
Every single melee weapon except for the bottle, which actually I coded that into the game, but the bottle gets destroyed because it's so low in health before that can happen, and then I just liked it, so I left it that way. I felt like having bottles like breaking people's heads would be cool, but in the bar stage, you would kill too many guys instantly that way, and we just kind of just didn't do it. So I think what we did is it's just one piece of code, but every single weapon, every melee weapon has a drawing of itself and what it would look like if it was embedded in someone's head. So it's basically half the weapon with like a blood splat. And then just like every blood splat or bruise or cut or bandage that appears on your guy for taking damage, like bullet holes and whatnot, all that is just a hilt with blood coming out as a bullet hole that appears on your guy. That's it. That's all it is. So it's not really that complicated. We just had to have a version of that for every single weapon. In Unity, it's beautiful. We just physically put the object in the dude and good night. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
As far as the actual deaths go, how much is in between ragdoll and actual death animation?
I don't know if I ever talked about it too much. I know we kind of discussed it, but I'm not sure if we talked about it on the podcast. So, for the record, the way it works right now is everybody by now is familiar with the way the sweet spot system works in the game. This doesn't really have an effect with melee weapons. We need to fine-tune how it works with those. Oh yeah, 30-minute warning, everybody. So when you shoot somebody outside the sweet spot, they go into a death animation, like, oh, you got me. If you continue to shoot at them, they will continue to take hits until they, collapse. naturally, after a number of bullets, they may then collapse on the ground and ragdoll. There's always a % chance it'll happen. But if you shoot somebody in the sweet spot, that is to say, if they're standing in the sweet spot for the weapon that you are equipping, not only will they go ragdoll, but you'll do more damage, and they'll typically fly out of the way. And what is awesome about this is that you get a variety of animations where it's either a cool death animation or instant ragdoll, like an instant kill. Like the brain turned off, they're dead. But on top of that, it gets rid of that thing that you have in this game. We call the, it happens in Nexus 1, and we kind of like think of it as the GoldenEye effect, where you kill a guy and he goes into a long death animation, and all of his teammates continue to shoot and their bullets pass through the guy because he's on the same team and there's no friendly fire. However, your bullets stop when it hits that guy, so they basically have an impervious dead man shield. I call that the GoldenEye effect, and it was despicable. I hated it. This game will have that, but they has this as a punishment. You didn't kill somebody in the sweet spot? Well, they're going to stand there and die for a second. Your bullets will stop when they hit him, though he could still go into ragdoll. I might make it so that they block everybody's shots. That would be easy to do when someone dies. Turn them on for hits for friendly fire as well. So it affects everybody equally, and I'm okay with that, but it's going to block yours. That's what sucks. But if you kill somebody in the sweet spot, it's considered like a critical hit type deal, and it will fly out of the way and they won't block your bullets, so you can control when that happens. Nice one, Meth. Way to die.
Not my fault.
So I'm assuming I'm watching this 30 seconds later as usual, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Well, more like
normally
15.
we stream it on the Skype and then we watch it there, but I guess today we're not doing that, which is fine. Okay, so anyway, so that's how deaths are going to work there. Also, some deaths may randomly cause them to ragdoll while they're in it, just to give it a little bit of variety, so they don't have to go through the whole arduous animation every single time. But we have a good handful of death animations right now, like a good 10, 15 that it's cycling through. I think it's 10. Some are zombies, some are just normal grunt deaths. But yeah, that's where we are now. So, do we have any questions? Anything that I could be answering?
Sean, if you want to get that list together.
Let's see. Okay, the first one I'm going to ignore. My lord. We've talked about this before, I think, on one of the streams, but just to wrap it up. What kind of options will there be for gore? Toggleable kind of options to reduce lag and overall
you mean
performance?
turning it off and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I imagine we'd probably have whatever the cheat code equivalent is of heavy gore and that kind of stuff. You know, beat the game once and you can turn on super mega gore mode or something, or tricky mode where objects fly out of somebody instead of blood. You know, the improbable mode might be kind of cool where the game glitches and that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, I don't know. I would be okay with having a parentally safe version of the game, where heads don't explode. There's no wounds on bodies, bullet hole splats, yes, but no no exposed gore on the inside of the body. No holes appear with the sweet cool shader that I programmed from scratch. No gibs or jibs or whatever, blood splats on the wall. I don't see why we wouldn't have an option to turn that off. That'd be pretty easy.
Yeah, I think the fact that in Project was on all of the decals for and all of that huge concept. It's gonna be
Strangely, I'm not sure. I know that something is happening in the game that causes it to get slower, something the game is accounting for, that's not being what's called trash collected, where when you're done with a variable or an object, in object-oriented programming, engines like Unity or Flash would find okay, nothing is using this anymore, nothing is referring to this, I'm going to remove this from memory so it's gone. And if somewhere in your code you're still referencing it but not using it, trash collection will never happen unless you make it destroy manually. So I think what was happening was something was just lagging around, like sitting around and accumulating as the game continues. However, in every room, when a body falls, the same reason that when there's a body on the ground, you walk over it. There's no depth to it, right? It basically is just being drawn to the ground. No matter how many bodies you have, all they are is just pixels being drawn to a big image. So right now, you have an image of a room that has a guy drawn onto it, and that's it. That dude actually doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know what's happening, because as far as I know, every room has a big texture file, and that big texture file exists no matter what's drawn to it. It could be that the number of colors is changed or something, and thus it's a more complicated file, but it's not compressed, so I don't know. At any rate, yeah, we are for the new game. That doesn't matter because you can't draw stuff like that. It's in 3D. We can't draw to a 2D image. That would look really weird. So we have to cover the way that like debris and stuff will look. Gore falling through the ground, like it bounces a couple times, sits, then like flies through the ground or something, like casings. I think we'll have to have a system like that, where it like disintegrates as it like goes through the ground. I'm not really sure. It'll probably scale down. I think scale down is the way to go instead of transparency. Keep a light footprint. But because it's in 3D, that's definitely something we need to be very aware of. I would love to have casings all over the ground. I really, really, truly would. And I think I'd like to have an option where you can set how much like debris you have in any particular room. But once it hits that threshold,
yeah,
there's a reason you play like a game even like Fallout or like GTA, and like even as complicated games on high-end consoles as exist now, and you splatter a bunch of dudes, you turn around and go down the street and come back, and you still see the blood splats, but the bodies are all gone. The cars are just the husks that got blown up, but the doors and the debris are all vanished. There's a reason that professional like AAA title games like that do that, which is it's insane to have a game that actually keeps the debris everywhere. It's not impossible, but that's it's effort best spent elsewhere.
Right.
So.
Right.
I'm gonna be all like, hello. Oh, I had caps lock on, so when I held shift down, it made it lowercase. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. There will absolutely be ways of turning off or reducing or even increasing if you have a supercomputer, the amount of gore, debris, particles, that kind of thing.
Okay, I got a question from, I believe it's pronounced Yama Hobo, maybe something like that. I think you referenced this in the stream last time or the one before that, but it's basically asking, will we have Xbox controller support?
Yes. Answer is yes.
Yes.
Bear in mind, even if we didn't, I would probably find, and yes, you can with Unity. All you got to do is plug it in, and Unity will recognize the Xbox controller, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But there's also ways of setting up your own controller for games anyway. For anything, like you could just keybind. There are really cool programs out there that allow you to keybind an Xbox controller. But I would rather have that done intuitively and automatically. I believe Unity takes care of all that, and also the answer is yes. If we can make the buttons fit, then yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So, suck on that good news.
Okay.
Are you
Absolute
sucking on it?
death.
Are you sucking on the good news?
What's he doing? What?
What?
You died again, Myth. What are you doing?
No! I'm
You
not
died
very
100
good at
years
this.
ago.
Absolute Death asked, when were the
Upgrade your
people who
stats.
bought their
I
tier...
did.
Oh yeah. The people who bought the tier for designing in-game content, when... Do you have a rough idea when that kind of... when they'll have an input?
I was hoping we'd have the alpha out, and then finally we can start taking orders on that. Because those things are not, they're not unnecessary, they're mandatory for the game. And I'm really actually super stoked to work on it. Because for the first time, we don't have to be creative. We can just lay back and just do the grunt work and let other people do the thinking for us. So having 30 or 50 or however many people it was, finally, I forget, like give us like orders for the things they want in the game. I truly cannot wait to do that. That actually, we're probably going to spend a week or 2 weeks working on just those assets. I won't be doing any coding. I will be jumping in with Matt, and we'll both be just producing a lot of stuff in Blender to meet those requirements. So I really truly can't wait. I'm excited for it, but the alpha just has to come out first, then we can get right on that. That is one of the most important things for our backers. Out of all the rewards we have to send out, we've done our research on the paper that we need, the stickers. We have everything ready to go. We just need to finish the images that get printed. But yeah, besides that, I think the design your own content thing is like one of the most important, because that's like in-game stuff. That's final stuff. Like there's no take backsies. That's going in the game. So I don't know. Sooner than later, you guys know how it is. But fortunately, travel time is done and the game is looking pretty finished now. We have a working arena mode. I just have to get the wave spawning is done. There's just a few more things I need to finish, and then we're ready for I'll believe how close it is. And then we can finally do the design stuff, the backer design content.
Yeah.
We should probably get a dialogue going before that, so we can have like a I don't know, like a forum access on ProjectNexus2.com where only those backers can come in and talk about their ideas, so we have it on record somewhere.
Well, I mean, that was the backer form access thing that we had as one of the rewards.
Oh no, yeah, we're gonna
this
have
time.
that specifically. Yes, we just need to be able to ship something to people first. Yeah, I'll explain that later. For the PayPal people who bought up to that level, the folks on the Kickstarter, everybody's entitled to join us there. We haven't done it yet. The forums are finally, you know, coming into themselves. They've seemed to have developed their own culture, which is nice, I guess. But I mean specifically just a small sub-forum for the 30 or 50 backers to come in and put their orders down so we can individually like clock which ones we've done. So we have them all on record and can communicate with these people too. In addition to the backer, the backers only forum access area.
So just make like another section, I guess.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
I'll back everything up first just in case I delete the forums. Whoops. Would that be so bad though?
Yeah, the 40,000 posts. Gone.
Yeah, I know, gone. And then as well as the record showing that I've not really posted there except for once every 3 months these days.
Yeah,
Oh no! You got shot in the attack. Pick up that gun, son.
Jeez.
Why? Because you can insta-kill people? Remember, pick up gun, hide behind barrel. You need cover.
See?
Oh, there we go. This is so much better.
Yeah, worst case scenario,
Okay.
just have a gun on your back, so if you die, you bring a gun with you.
Nightmare Games Live asked, will there be any enemy personality traits or perhaps leader skill tree traits to make an enemy fight with you?
Oh, kind of like the mastermind skill in
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Payday,
actually.
Payday 2.
Convert.
I think I'd like to have something where like at least you can like trick zombies into fighting other people, because bear in mind they're always aggressive to everybody except for other zombies. I believe abominations and zombies won't fight. We're considering based on the story that maybe abominations and Zeds will combat each other, which I think would be pretty cool. But they do kind of belong to the same faction, so maybe not. That aside, like those scenarios where you draw people into fighting the Zeds, which are more of like just a constant risk. Yeah, aside from that, I don't know. We hadn't really thought about having something like that. I'm not sure how we would do it, but it's possible.
Okay,
But probably not. At least not right away. Not until we like really explored the whole leadership system. Because I think it'd be cool to release the game with the tools that we're gonna have, and then release it later with DLC that allows you to have like a fully expanded on like leader pack or something. So if we do something like that, probably not for initial release. You guys know how it is. It's hard work. Yes, look at the blood. Look at it.
Okay, got a bit of a strange question.
Oh, that's my favorite death, and I animated that one. Where the head goes, ugh, and then he like slowly drops backwards to the floor.
Oh yeah.
I'm proud. I did that particular madness animation.
How many animations did you do for Project Nexus?
For the first one, I think death animations, there's easily about 35 to 40, but a lot of them are contextual. Like, see how he shot that guy in the head? That one, where he flips backwards, that animation also cues when you shoot somebody in the feet from behind, so, you know, same direction he would spin. So there's a couple of cases where it's contextual like that. That guy didn't get shot in the head, so body shots, they have, like, slower deaths, where he's like, what is this? And he looks at his stomach and dies. Matt actually recreated that one in Project Nexus too, because it's awesome. Then, of course, there's the deaths where if you shoot somebody near a wall, sometimes their head will be leaning up against it, which I think is badass. Or you kill someone on stairs and they bounce down and then flip. Yeah, so you don't always see, like, one randomly appears out of 40 animations, but it is contextual, which is also something that we have in this Nexus, the Nexus 2 variety. Man, I need coffee. Can't you tell I'm talking so slow?
What? Midas Cannon asked, can enemies trip on soda cans
No.
so you can bash their heads in?
No.
I haven't actually seen a soda can in the game.
Any physical objects?
Well, I would be happy to have like debris in the stage that like you can knock around, but you like. I need to figure out how it works in Unity because it's a two-way street. If you can interact with a soda can, just for example, the soda can can interact with you. So I'm not really sure how to make it so that when you stand on a can, like when you ignore physics, you ignore all physics, which is to say, let's say that you walk into the can. There's no reason that if that can became stationary and stuck, I would hate it if you could stand on top of it. I would want you to walk through it, like, transparently. But the can should respond to you, though. So, like, as you move, you should kick the can, but the can should never thwart you or stop you from moving around in a stage. I would love to have that kind of stuff. I would do that with, like, debris on the floor, like, all over the place if it was possible. Pistol whip him. Oh, you can't yet, can you?
No, I don't think so.
Shoot him in the butt, the little part that's hanging out over the side. There you go. Kill
Right.
him, kill him, this is the end of the wave.
It's so close. So close.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Okay. Nightmare Games Live asked, will there be any hidden... Well, wouldn't exactly be hidden if you told us about it. Would there be any hidden Easter egg characters such as Sean or Mythlodis in the game? Oh my God.
Well, there will definitely be, as promised on the Kickstarter, like a Newgrounds type area, with a bunch of our like famous buddies. You know, Egoraptor was like, yeah, sure, man, I'm happy to like, you know, be in your game. So you know, we'll have like the Egoraptor character, our buddies Oni and Psychic Pebble, Chris and Zach, also members of the Sleepy Cabin group with Stamper at sleepycabin.com. I think those guys are also in on it. I want to do one for Rice Pirate.
Shadman.
One of our Shad's a longtime Madness fan, and he's one of the nicest dudes I've met.
What the
I would
hell
love
would
to
you do
have
for his
Shadman.
character?
Oh, he would probably wear a ski mask. He at the last what was it, Pico Day, he wore a ski mask the whole time. Or
You could
some
put
kind
a
of mask.
Shadman shirt on a grunt. There you go.
Actually, you know what he had? It wasn't a ski mask. It was like he had like really heavy black shades, which he always wears, and like a bandana over his face, so he like looked like a bandit. I'm not really sure why that's his thing, but he's an awesome dude. So you know,
He's a shady man, obviously.
he's a shady shad man, but he's
Yeah.
an awesome dude. So you know, he can do what he wants. I like him. But he's also a Madness fan, and I would love to commission him to do like art pieces for the game to like help us promote the game. I would absolutely love that. Because he can draw things besides boobs. He can also draw Madness characters, which are the most androgynous of all time.
Okay, I got an amazing question here from Absolute Death.
I can't wait for it.
Okay. Will there be any in-game developer worship? I wish for a shrine to Swaintan, the code god, who without his literal input, you would not have these glorious games. Crinkles, the god of art, who shapes the world, again literally, for us to play in. And Lochnar, the god of music, who fills our lives with joys of pumping awesomeness.
Which part was the question? Will we be in the game? Will there be a shrine?
Will there be shrines to the developer gods?
Only if somebody wants to make that their thing for their backer reward. We'll be in the game. I'd love to have a situation where like we're like in a torture chamber or a dungeon somewhere, and you can like rescue us or just kill us.
Yeah,
And if you
walk-
rescue us, we're like terrible, like magnificent cowards.
You walk into a room in one of the bases, and you guys are just like sat there in the sofa playing video games, just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
Well, you have
exactly.
to shoot things around.
Yeah, it could be right. It could be neat in arena mode. We're in the headquarters. We're not really squad mates, but like if you earn certain achievements in the game, you'll unlock. Like, all right, Crinkles hangs out with you at the in the barracks. Like he's hanging out on the couch, right, like playing video games. So there would be this whole like hangout area with the TV and like a bunch of couches, like at the Newgrounds office, and that would be something where like you can unlock developers. You guys also, you two, Sean and Meth, you would be welcome to join us in a digital couch.
Have it so you stand there, and then Crinkles is like, get me a beer. You have to go to the other side of the base, grab a beer, bring it back to him, and you get a character customization.
I think it would be fantastic. And of course, it would be neat if you could make these characters squad mates as well, and if they die, they're just hospitalized. Because I'm thinking about whether or not we're going to have permadeath for squad mates. I'm not sure. So we gotta think about how to balance that.
Speaking of, well, actually that is not a segue whatsoever. But
Oh, okay.
Kikulus asked, how complex is the body destruction system going to be?
Well,
Which we
I
talked
can
about
tell
a few
you-
times. But
I can describe how it works, and you guys can tell me if you think it's complex. Yeah, shoot that engineer in the head. Yes, yeah, die. I love the blood splats. I still like the new ones better, just because it looks like something out of 300. I was inspired by the intro to the podcast, but it's still hard to beat the just the good old fashioned splat. Anyway. Have you ever like looked at a wall that has weird contours on it and you see like a face or something in the wall? Right in front of my, right in front of me on the other side of my monitor is like a stain in the brick that looks like a really weird Siamese cat's head. And every now and then when I glance across the wall, I'm not thinking about it, I see a cat head, and I'm not sure where I saw it. Like I get a flash of it in my mind because I'm looking at it, but I just don't know what I saw. It scares the freaking bejesus out of me every time. Anyway, so that's happening right now.
What?
Uh,
What's
that's
I
the
got?
answer.
What's I got to do with character destruction? What?
Nothing. That's how you segue. That is what you call a non sequitur, Sean. Better luck next time.
What the?
Okay, so body destruction. I'll describe it, and you guys tell me if you think it's complicated. Almost as complicated as my story just now.
Alright, go for it. brother.
Okay, so you've got a dude. He's got a head object, a body object, 2 hands, and 2 feet, plus whatever he's wearing on him. So you shoot the guy. Eventually, I need to add in the same code for the body destruction to the armor that you're wearing, so that you see holes appear in that, because that didn't happen in the previous game, but I want it to happen now. So what'll happen is you shoot the person. If it's just a good old-fashioned shot, typically if it's outside the sweet spot and thus not a critical hit, you'll add just like a bullet hole type splat to them, kind of like in the previous game, and they'll either be dead or not. The splat will look like a graze or something like that if it was a graze, that kind of thing. It'll reflect the kind of weapon that you're using, so a slash for a sword and all that kind of stuff. But if you do enough damage, like and you kill somebody while they're in the sweet spot, and you destroy somebody, okay, it takes into account where you hit. It applies a big ass hole to that spot, depending on the caliber or size of weapon or round discharged. That hole will blend in with more blood that splats around the wound. Now inside the head at that moment, let's say you shot them in the head as opposed to body, it will generate. Right now it's generating just like a meat blob. Think of that moment in Kung Pao Enter the Fist where he punches the guy and the like tube of meat comes out of the guy's like chest where there's a hole in him. Right now it's just a tube of meat. That's it. Matt, because we just want to get the features done and out before we perfect it, that is temporary. Eventually what you'll see is like a destroyed skull with brain matter, depending on like where you shot him. It'll generate a different kind of like wounded head on the inside. And as you continue to shoot that guy, if he's like still standing up or something, you may blow apart more pieces off of him and see more of the like skull in the interior. So that skull or that body would be like the same sort of thing. We'd have different varying types of innards that we would generate to give it variety. It'd be neat if we had like intestine trails falling out and stuff like that. I don't think it's necessary, and it's not very madnessy because they don't really have guts per se, but it's more just like bones with meat in them. But that is basically what we're dealing with. Then we have characters like zombies where their teeth will get knocked out as you blast them. And they actually take body destruction without going down, which is half the fun of killing them. It's just watching as you whittle away their body. So that's kind of where we are right now. I can't wait to get the better interiors inside the characters, like the better modeled interiors, instead of just the like gut thing, the meat. But yeah, so that's basically where we are. That's the level of complication that it'll be. Plus, all the blood sprays and fountains of gore coming out of people. But I think that's pretty complicated. There will be dismemberment and whatnot yet. That's not in the game now and won't be for a little while after the alpha, because that's not necessary yet. That's just a cool feature that will be in, but is not necessary for testing. So we're going to work on dismemberment next. It's not hard to do. It's just going to take time. So that'll be a level of complication that we're not quite at yet. Just literally blowing somebody's head off, where you hit somebody so hard with like a shotgun that all they have is like a neck stump left, like that kind of stuff. I can't wait for. Which you technically could do right now, except they would have the big meat head, like the meat thing on the inside of their head. But
Yeah.
that would eventually get replaced with a different one based on the kind of wound that they take. So that's what's going on with that. So you tell me if you think that's complicated. I'll you be the judge.
I don't know. Complicated in which way though? Complicated to program. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But that's all mostly done though, which is nice.
It seems alright to me.
Someone's got to teach you how to take cover, man.
But it's
He's a
so much more
wild
fun.
gun. Look, he's not even got a single scratch.
Death by gun throw.
Okay. Absolute death fast. Why in the area below the videos, maths, moderator tag, all caps, and oh. That is because I forgot to make the head when we were like 5 minutes before a live stream, and I closed Photoshop and had to reopen it and make that so it's not matching, and I was too lazy to fix it. Okay, next question.
Nice.
That
you got to admit, guys, that MPN2 logo, pretty sweet, right?
It
It was
is.
right?
A collaboration between the Sean and the Swain.
Is that a collaboration or just you?
That you sent me like a thing that you were putting together, but you had to chop up the original logo to make it. So I remember saying that, like, something along the lines of, hey, dude, well, that's a good idea. Let's just make a real one. So I went in with the original assets in Photoshop and produced a high quality image for you. But it was your idea.
And I used it.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Now I've got a sweet ass mug.
I think it looks freaking fantastic. I love it.
It does. I wanted it on like a black mug, but
with a black border, you said?
Well, no, I mean a black background.
Oh, black background. Yeah, that's easy.
But...
I gave it to you with transparency, right? You can just do that.
No, I meant the mug that I printed it on. I wish I had, like, a black mug.
I forgot that you have a flippin' mug, you plagiarist. Unlicensed production.
Sue me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will.
Your ass is sued.
Sure. Let's try it. Scrub.
You guys know Pressman Toys, the guys that make the Mastermind game, the board game with the 6 colored dots? They sent me a cease and desist a couple years ago because of my because of my Mastermind cartoon series.
Because you called it Mastermind.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I studied a lot about trademark and copyright law because of that, specifically trademark law. It turns out, because basically what I did was I made a Mastermind puzzle game based on their game, but that's because you cannot copyright game rules. That is illegal. You can, for example, if you want to make a game where you cannot pass go, you do not collect $200, you go to jail, you buy properties around a board, and you roll 2 dice to do it, and you can make that game. The moment you call it Monopoly or use any of their images that they've created, your ass is sued. You are ruined. You cannot get away with it. Strangely though, you can on the flip side, I can make a cartoon called Spider-Man if I wanted to. But I could also, if I made a cartoon and I called it Web Boy or Awesome Dude, and it's about a guy who web slings with snarky attitude and works at a newspaper by day, I would get sued in a heartbeat. So on the flip side, you can't copyright intellectual property. But the name, that's the thing, I can call it Spider-Man, but if I use the Amazing Spider-Man, or if I use their color or font or anything, that's trademark law and I can absolutely...
Well, actually, isn't it Spider-Man that's...
I believe so, yeah. Which, interestingly, they also tried, Pressman, while they were at it, tried to get me on Blockhead, because they have a game called Blockhead. Block, space, head, different font, different everything. I even outright told them, you have got nothing on me. This game, my cartoon has nothing to do with your game. You know it, I know it, you're just being petty. So let's talk about Mastermind. So they tried to get me on the game. The thing is, they can't copyright game rules. My board in the game looks nothing like theirs, and the way that you play it is different. I'm also protected. Their trademark is for toys and games. I'm protected under software. Or toys and toy products, basically, is what board games are, is what their trademark applies to. My non-registered trademark, meaning just whatever, public law trademark, is for video games, for software. So we don't even apply to the same category. These guys are notorious Nazis about bringing down anybody who's tried to make a Mastermind game. And I made a Mastermind game. The best part, though, is that all I did was the art for it. I own the brand Mastermind, the cartoon. They also tried to get me to take that down. I told them seriously, that's not going to happen. That's absolutely not going to happen. I only released the whole point of trademarks is that people know that when they go into a store, if they buy a knockoff Nike shoe, and you think you're actually getting Nike, you've cost Nike a sale, and that's why it's illegal. That you're protecting the brand. However, Mastermind, my puzzle game, I released only on Newgrounds and my website, but that was for personal use. Only on Newgrounds, where I had an established brand, Mastermind. And I used the same font, the same logo, the same characters, released on the same account. So because I released it in that closed area, it was with an established fan base that knows that that is not the product that Pressman created. On top of that, I was only the artist. The programmer, the guy that made the game, was my buddy Rodrigo from Toonimated, and this is a Mexican animation group. These guys are from Mexico, so he can't even jurisdictionally get this guy. He has to extradite him for legal whatever. And also we got I think we only made $500 sponsorship for the entire game, or for ad revenue or something. We made the game for fun. That was it. So Pressman did not want to sue me for $500 worth of damages. They couldn't get me for shit because I started it. I didn't even program the game. AKA I gave him art and he made the game for me. All I did was make a bunch of cartoons and voices and design it. He made the game, so he couldn't get me on that, so I can't be sued for it. And on top of that, I didn't even break any laws in the first place, so who cares? So I finally agreed, fine, I'll talk to Tom, we'll take it off of Newgrounds, just that game. And I'll make it closed on my site so people can't just access it. So you can still go to that page, it's there, you just can't get to it from a link. And he's like, well, what about all the other sites that pirated it? And I said, they pirated it. They stole my property. And if you can find a way to get that off the internet, I'd be much obliged. Like I'm the victim here too. And so basically there's nothing they could do. Anyway, that's a long ass story, but I got a cease and desist once, never sued.
I did read through the Newgrounds, or was it Fault made like a page on Newgrounds for like the claims that company sent him for like the Teletubbies thing.
Oh yeah, he's been dealing with that shit for so long.
God.
Yeah.
It's interesting anyway. What were we talking about?
I don't know. You have questions?
Yeah.
Sean.
Nightmare
feed
Games Live
question.
asked, will Bullet Time make another appearance?
Yeah. I've been working on slowing down the timer. You can do it in 3D. It's actually much easier to do with Unity than it was in Flash. We actually programmed the game from the beginning, Nexus 1, from the beginning, where Matt animated everything slowly. Like basically all the frames are very slow. So that we could then, I had to program something in the game specifically so that when the game is not, which just means it's just doing more work, so that when the game is not in slow motion, it's actually speeding through every single frame of an animation, skipping every frame, every other frame. So you're actually seeing every animation double time so that it looks normal. This time we don't have to do that. We can just animate everything the right way the first time and slow everything down when it comes to the point that you're in like bullet time. Everything will thus also be reflected. I realize countdown timers aren't affected by slowdown, so I have to mess with that. But yeah, but bullet time will absolutely be in the game. In fact, one thing that's not in yet, but we were still absolutely putting in, I just haven't coded it yet, is as your combo goes up, time will slow down. And based on like your tactics attribute or something. Oh, look out, it's a golem! Based on your tactics, you excuse me, you'll actually slow the game down more and more, allowing you to concentrate and pick your shots a little better. The better the tactics you have, and the higher the combo, the more the slowdown. And the faster you will move while that's happening, which should be neat.
So from Rekshal, is there a chance that PvP is going to be in the game? If so, how will it form differently from PvE?
How will PvP differ from PvE?
I
I like to think that we'll have a deathmatch arena, which will just be the arena stages, as well as maybe some new ones. I like the idea of making every stage something you can access in any game mode, but it would probably be like again Unreal Tournament like deathmatch mode where you and other players spawn in. Probably not with a squad. There will be game modes that do have squads, like a pitched battle, and the winner is the guy who kills the other side, or captures the flag or something. But specifically, you would just spawn into a room. You would start with like a basic pistol or something crappy, based on whatever your skills are, like a pistol and a knife or something, or a switchblade and I don't know, a slingshot. I don't know, something crappy. And weapons would drop around the stage and spawn in specific spots. Much like deathmatch type games, and you would just run around picking up items and just blowing each other's heads off. Stick Arena, Quake, Unreal, whatever. I'm imagining there would be a lot of games like that for PvP. Also, you would have versions of Arena mode that could be done cooperatively. Infiltration modes where you have like randomly generated stages with randomly generated like bad guy structures and stuff. For infinite replayability would be kind of cool. What else? Yeah, I mean, you'd basically have that's the gist of it. That's where we're starting. Eventually, we'll have like paintball mode where the game changes a bit, and when you're out for a little bit. And like I mentioned, capture the flag.
I got an interesting question from Midas Cannon. He asked, "Can we assign contracts and kill them while hiring others?" Which I'm assuming is kind of a send your squad mates off to do so-and-so to train, I suppose.
Oh, I see. Actually, I'm not sure how we're going to do squad mate training. I'm assuming you take them in a mission with you and they level up, like slowly when they're not with you or quickly when they are. Kind of like Final Fantasy VII or any Final Fantasy where you can change your squad out. where the guys who aren't out with you slowly catch up. Like there's always a minimum that they'll be at. But if you really want to train them up with everybody else, you got to put them in a party. So I don't know, maybe something like that. It's honestly not something I've thought too much about because I'm just going to start it off by giving them experience based on how they, whether or not you bring them with you. If you don't, then they don't level. At least that's how I'm going to do it at the beginning. And if it's too jarring, yeah, maybe. But this isn't like Assassin's Creed where you like send off your assassins to go do stuff. This is a very hands-on game.
Right.
You want to do a contract, then you're going to be the one doing it.
Llama Hobo asked, can the Mach 11 have its special 2-stage suppressor? That's quite the answer.
I'm not sure. Matt is the guy to answer like gun questions on. I'm just the code monkey.
Monkey on a keyboard.
Yeah. I just make me game. Matt is definitely the guy to answer that question. And look, he's not here. There will be, of course, Mach 11s. That's already a weapon in the game, and he probably knew that. That's probably why he asked. And there are suppressors, but we don't have them activated. But we have everything all set up. And Matt has created a variety of suppressors, silencer type things, all kinds of cool stuff.
Okay. Absolute Death asked, Swain, do you just watch us blank? Well, actually, Swain, do you just watch us curse word around the forums laughing at our bullshit?
Only when Sean sends me to the really useful topics. That place has gotten so out of control, and I love it. I think the reason I don't use the forums, I know that wasn't the question. Yes, sometimes I do. But I don't really use it as often as I used to, as you've noticed. The obvious answer is because I'm working a lot. Same reason I don't post on Tumblr a lot or Facebook as much as I should to keep people updated. That half hour I spend like going to all the social media sites is a half hour that could have, finished another feature. So, but I'm this weekend, actually specifically today, I'm going to mess with WordPress and get a better blog system on the website so that I can try to get everything done in one fell swoop. So I can just do WordPress and then like launch to everything. That's my hope anyway. So I want to try to get a better blog system because right now there's like 2 updates on the front page of the website, projectnexus2.com, and nothing else. And those are like a year old. So I need to update that. And I've been doing it manually, which is garbage. I can't do it that way. I need blog software. So I'm putting that together. Then I'll be on the site more often, including on the forums. I just need a way to like link the forums up with that. And I'm hoping I can just do everything at once.
Okay, we
But
have
anyway,
about four
then you
more
guys can laugh at me.
questions. So I think we're like just over an hour, so we've got like 4 more questions, and then I think
Yeah, sure.
we
We'll
should
shoot
leave.
off some. Yeah, I'll try to keep it less wordy.
Keep this down. Okay. Medis Cannon asked, can we improvise our weapons like when the tip breaks? If the tip breaks, can we flip it around and use the hold?
Weapon flipping. I remember that for some reason Devin was a huge fan of that, like a big proponent for it. I think I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what I was probably going to go with the same system as last time, which is a melee weapon that's broken is like an instant kill, so you can actually try to like time it. We'll probably do it that way. And of course, once like useless. So I kind of like the idea of instead of throwing it away, that you do at least have one big, like heavy damage thing that you can use it for, and then that's that. Including throwing it, which would be kind of neat. Same with like pistols that have no ammo left. I like the idea that they give you like bonus damage or something if you throw them, but then they get stuck in the guy and can't be taken out. Unlike other weapons, which get stuck in a guy and you can pull them out, like full weapons. Good lord, that's a full room. Anyway, yeah, I hope that answers that question, kind of.
Nightmare Games Live, can we rip heads off and use those? Which I wanted in Project Nexus one more time.
Yeah, the head was like the third
Damn.
weapon created. It just never made
that
it in the
didn't
game.
made it in. I was
What's
so
that?
angry. I remember, what did I?
The head and the
email.
urinal were both weapons that never made it in, but are in the game, just never accessed.
Yeah, I don't know how people found that out, because that's all over the wiki that it was.
Oh yeah, they
coded in.
get the assets. You can just like decompile it, and they just sort through the library, finding everything, which is exactly how they found out things like Jesus' character name is Jesus in the file for his stats. Christoph's stats are under Jesus too, so people started to piece that together.
Right.
As though the name Jebediah Christoph like Christ wasn't a big enough giveaway that that's the backstory for Jesus.
Yeah. And the fact they look really similar.
Yeah. But
Uh,
ripping heads off and killing people with it, that currently is an execution that you'll be able to do. Matt has animated it. I just don't have the heads disappearing yet, because that's part of the dismemberment code that I haven't coded yet. But Matt did the animation for it, where he'd rip off the head and like smash you with it, and then throws both to the ground. So that will be a thing, but like actually taking a head and using it as a weapon, I don't know, maybe, probably. I mean, if I've got head taking off, you know, dismemberment code, then I might as well use it. But I think you'd have to do that specific animation, and then you would have the head in your hand.
Okay, absolute death. Are thumb lighters going to be a thing? I'm not sure what purpose. I guess that would be more Z mode or some kind of use for that. I'm not quite sure.
Thumb lighters?
Hmm.
You mean like a Bic lighter?
Yeah, he's referring to Deimos in Madness 9, where whenever he used his lighter, it was literally just the tip of his thumb was on fire
Oh, really?
in the animation.
Oh, that's pretty funny. No, there will be lighters because there will be smoking. So, agents, like when you sneak up on them, you'll see them talking and smoking sometimes.
Do you think that would be like useful, like a tool, possibly for that Z mode, or?
In Z mode, probably, yeah. Fire will be a thing. Fire will definitely be an important thing in Z mode.
And the last question linking to Z mode, well, I assume it's Z mode, but Midas Cannon asked, can we give diseases / rabies? I'm assuming that's related to illnesses and infections.
Z survival will have like deprivation type stuff. I'm not really sure how to handle diseases, but definitely malnutrition. We might have it as like, you know, the Project Zomboid method of you're sick. I'm doing air quotes right now, you can't see it, but sick. Maybe something like that. But diseases, specific diseases, no. There's no chlamydia. Madness is free of the AIDS, which is good because there's blood over everything.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know. They don't have a mouth, do they? So they can't really. I don't know.
Sanford does. Sanford could catch AIDS in the mouth.
It's true.
Yeah.
But why does
He's the only one who could get oral herpes too. Him and Jesus.
Will Nexus 2 provide the answers as to why certain characters have mouths?
No.
No.
Unless, of course, if you look at it as though you go to the store and buy like a mouth for your mouth slot to equip a mouth.
Is it like plastic surgery? It's like an additional, you know, I want to have a mouth, and they give you surgery for it, and it's just like a fashion trend.
Well, in this game, I'm still probably leaning towards you go to the store and buy a mouth, the same way that you buy a bandana. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you'll have a mouth slot that's disabled when you equip something to it. I don't know.
I'd like a mouth, please. And then they cut you
I would like to have like exclusive type stuff like that to like mark achievements and, you know, that kind of thing with your character. Unlocking really cool like mouthpieces and body pieces, unique hands, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You will be able to do like gloves and boots, like different kinds of shoes for the first time ever in Madness.
Oh, God.
There'll be like 2 shoes, which is
Revolt.
double the amount of shoes.
God. But yeah, that was the last of our questions. About an hour 10 minutes in, give or take.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like that's pretty good. Yeah, let me see. I'm just gonna really quickly look through my my thing. Okay, spawning waves has been done. One of the things that I've been working on since I've been home from vacation and travel has been, let's see, to do. What am I looking at right there? I don't even know what this is. Oh, how characters will check for checking for nodes when they're looking around corners, so that they can like get around corners a little better. Declustering characters that spawn, which is very, very important. Declustering meaning like when you get into a room, let's say that the game decides, okay, this squad of enemies needs to spawn in this room that's attached to the one you're in. So it spawns them there. It doesn't just put them into a door. Spawns them into the room. This could also be not just when you start arena when it's spawning guys, but maybe, you know, when it's randomly generating dudes for a randomly generated stage. It needs to know where to put them. So currently, the game it picks a node, which is to say that the way that the game can tell if you can get access to a door. Like let's say you're in a room and there's a wall separating one side from the other. You can see and shoot through it, but you can't walk across it. The game needs to know that so that enemies trying to pathfind to you don't try to walk against the wall, but will actually leave the room, go through the appropriate door, and follow the maze of other rooms to get to you. Currently, that's working. That's in the game, and they do it wonderfully. It's smashing. Nodes are also a good way of, because that's how they'll find you. Nodes are also a great way of finding places where they could spawn. Also where doors enter the room, like the point that when a guy enters the room from a door, there's like a little invisible point that the door says you go to this spot. That point is also a valid node. So all rooms in the game record these things, and when a guy spawn, they can't just spawn on the node because then they'll stack on top of each other. Even if you spread them across the room, you kind of want the squad to spawn near each other. So I added the staggering system where it figures out where they'd want to spawn, starting with the leader and working its way down. Then, of course, there's always the possibility that there's no room for a guy. What do? It could try to spawn him in the room, but that could glitch out the game. So instead, I've got a system in place where it keeps him in sort of like a limbo, like escrow, and as soon as the game has space for him, it'll try to place him again. Of course, in that time, the player could have entered that room, and then the enemy can't spawn there. It'll find a new place for him. Yeah, I've got a system like that working right now. So that's basically what I've been working on since I got home. Lockers you guys are already familiar with. Let's see here. Leadership order tickets. Grappling is already in. Yeah, as soon as I get skills, the skills system in the game, which is what I'm working on as of Monday. This weekend is the website. Yeah, I don't know. That's basically what we've been working on, what we are working on. I've already mentioned Matt's working on the commercial sector objects. And then he can start actually working on interior design stuff for like final missions, like infiltration missions, like what would be inside a building if you invade into it, just to give it some variety. So that's what we've been doing. That's what we're on now.
Right. It's a lot.
That's a lot.
An awful lot.
I know, but this is the world we live in. We're trying to make a game here, so it's tough. It's hard work, and we're only 2 guys, but we're working on it.
And I think the community loves you guys for making it. All right.
Oh well, maybe they are. Half of them hate us, but they understand. Valve at least set a pretty good precedent, which is the game's not going to get done anytime soon. You know that.
Valve time.
Has to be a better game for it. It'll be out before Half-Life 3 anyway.
Half-Life 3 confirmed, everyone. Alright, so this is the end of the Project Nexus 2 podcast episode. Okay. I guess we'll call it 5.5.
Sure.
We'll be showing off actual gameplay at the end of the month again, probably around July 25th or August 1st. And Michael will be able to show all the stuff that he currently has sitting in his little, what would you call it, workstation?
Yes, and my conniving little fingers.
Yes. So it was good to have everybody on, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. We wanted to put something on because there wasn't actually much to show because of conflicts in schedules, but everyone should be on. Devin and Matt will both be on toward the end of the month. They're available, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I hope to have more to show this upcoming week. By next weekend, I'm hoping to have the blog system working on the website, and I can then start pumping out screenshots. Because I feel like I've taken like 100, 200 screenshots of the game, and you guys only see like a third of them. So once I have a good system in place, I'll finally be able to at least put up more pictures and then link that to the Steam and, get everything all hooked up finally. It's been a long time coming. So I don't know. Once that's there, this next week you guys will be able to see the progress for the game and the stuff we've been diddling with, which has been hard to show because it's basically the game is sitting in pieces. You have to break a lot of things to get it to work and then plug things back in. The saving and loading system is in the game, but it's not working now because every time I change the way a character is storing information, then the previously saved characters no longer work, and then that breaks the game when I try to load them, which makes them invalid. So I either have to have a system in place that just deletes them when they're no longer relevant, or doesn't even try to load them like that. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to find a way to do it because that's just yet another thing I have to clean up if we're going to make the game presentable for a playthrough. Which is that the assumption on the 25th we're doing an actual playthrough of the game?
Yes.
Aiming to, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah, so it gives you about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now?
Seems like it, yeah.
Yep, okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you want to catch the recording of this, if you missed any of it, it'll be on the Project Nexus 2 podcast YouTube channel, which is linked down in the Twitch channel's description. And if you're interested in the game and want to help back and support it, if you go to projectnexus2.com, they have pre-orders available. All right. Well, Sean, Michael, thank you for coming onto the podcast, and thank you for all the viewers who are actually here and ask questions.
Oh, shucks, you're welcome.
You're so thank you, Michael. It's always fun to have you on.
Whatever.
You guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah. But Sean, on the other hand,
Just close it already.
All right.
Yeah.
See you guys later. Bye.
All right, thanks everybody for stopping by.
Bye.